And I have to tell you that when I was in your office the other day, there was a young man in there, and I'm a people person, and I said to him, how did you choose this firm? And we just started talking, and he said the commercials he saw, and I told him, I said, you chose the right one.
Hello and welcome to the Hardison Cochran podcast. I'm your host, Bill Campbell. The voice you heard to open this podcast belongs to Phyllis. Phyllis is a resident of Wake County, North Carolina. She is also a two-time client of Hardison Cochran. Both of her cases involved being rear-ended in an auto accident, and both times she was represented by personal injury attorney John Paul Godwin. Following is the conversation I had with Phyllis about her experience with Hardison Cochran. We hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining us today, Phyllis. You have used Hardison Cochran twice for auto accidents. When you were involved in your second accident, why did you decide to give Hardison Cochran a call back?
Well, the experience was wonderful, so I decided to call John Paul back. The sign-up experience was just a smooth transition. I would say that they took care of all my needs based on my experience, a previous experience, so that's why I called them back. I knew that they would handle things properly. I knew that from the previous accident.
You talked about the sign-up experience. For those that don't know, before Hardison Cochran gets started on any case, the firm has to get some papers signed and some basic information to get started. Can you talk about that meeting a little bit more for our listeners?
Well, the sign-up experience, I felt very warm, caring. I knew that everything would go smoothly. Just from the minute I walked in the door, I felt like someone cared about me. Someone took the time, and it just went well. I mean, it was just a very smooth transition. They were very compassionate and caring.
John Paul Godwin was your attorney. How was your relationship with him?
John Paul was very wonderful. He focused on what was best for me, my healing. He made sure that everything was geared toward my well-being, my happiness. I mean, he just made me feel overall that he was the best person for the job. He made me feel great. When I called him the second time, even though it was a smaller accident, a smaller case, we knew that. And I said to him, well, John, I don't want to deal with this. I need you to handle it. And he just rolled with it.
What about keeping you informed about your case? Were you always in the know?
Oh, John was on top of it. I mean, he called me. He just laid it on the line from A through Z. He just put it in order and say, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. He followed up. When he said he was going to follow up, when he had information, he would call and let me know from beginning until end, until it was settled.
Now, in addition to working with John Paul, you also worked with personal injury case manager Amber Pope. Tell us about your relationship with Amber.
Amber was very professional, very warm, caring. I mean, if she needed something, I provided it. She was on top of things, just like that. I mean, she got it done. She's great lady. She did a great job. She's just wonderful. I would recommend John Paul and Amber because of the professionalism, the way they made me feel, overall customer service from beginning until end. They did an amazing job. I never had to wonder about anything. I mean, they were just on top of things.
During the course of your case, it sounds like you didn't have to do much except worry about getting well physically and mentally.
That is 100% correct. I didn't have to worry about doing anything but going to physical therapy and to my doctors. And then when it was time, John or Amber would give me a call.
And finally, this is a question I ask all the guests. Would you refer a friend or family member to Hardison Cochran if they needed legal services?
Yes, because you can't find a better level of service. That's why I recommend Hardison Cochran.
And we appreciate you listening to the Hardison Cochran podcast. If you have any questions or comments, please visit lawyernc.com/podcast and submit them to our podcast team.